Hello, everybody. Welcome to my weird and wonderful world. And I had a couple of days ago been lent some CDs by my good friend Robert, who wanted me to review some of these CDs. Some of these I wanted to get on my own anyway, and I will be buying. I really wanted to give uh, a proper review of the Great Balancing Act. Also, this album here, this one's called Planet of Song. This one's called Two Birds. Plus, he wanted me to review this Petunia and the Vipers calling me back, and the Chicago Transit Authority, the very first Chicago album. And I do have things to say about each one of these. And so, yeah, a couple of days ago, he lent me these, and I was able to listen to them last night in the earphones, and again today in the stereo out loud. And yeah, I have some things to say about these for sure. Now, I am going to go in the order of my least favorite to my favorite, okay? And I'm going to give them a rating and basically a ranking and a rating. Let's put them in the proper order here. So, and I didn't listen to them in this order, but yeah, okay. Now, when it comes to the Petunia and the Vipers calling me back, I have to admit that I'm not a big fan of this at all. Not really. There's a couple of songs I do like because they do have a few of the songs has a rockabilly, a little bit of mariachi with a little bit of big band thrown in there, which is okay. But some of the songs, like when we get like there's a song especially when it gets to the blue yodel blues, it's too much of that old country for me. I never was a fan of old country, and it's just too reminiscent of that type of music that my parents listened to when I was a kid that I really didn't like. I like the old 50s rock and roll. I like a lot of there's a lot of like I like the Beatles stuff. Even as a kid, I always liked the Beatles stuff and that kind of stuff. But when it comes, yeah, it just gets a little bit too much. I understand what they're doing, and I can see the appeal to the people who like that type of music. The instrumentation is good. They really perfected what they do. But all in all, it's not my kind of music. I couldn't even finish playing it. I got to song 10, Hurry Home. There's how many songs on there? 15 songs in all. Yeah, I got to song 10, Hurry Home, and I stopped it because it was just too reminiscent of country music, the old country music that I did not like. So I'm gonna have to like, okay, I'll give him some points for efforts, but I have to give this maybe like a 5.5, maybe a 6 out of 10, because I mean, for what they're doing, they do knock it out of the park, but I'm just not a fan of that kind of music. So yeah, I'm sorry, Robert, that I gave this such a lower score, but that's not my kind of music at all. Now, when it comes to this next one, the Chicago Transit Authority, I really did like it, and I'm going to say right now I give this an 8.5 out of 10. The only thing I'm like, freeform guitar. I thought that was going to be a little bit more instrumental, more musical, but it's just like, what is it, 4 minutes of noise? It would have been okay, and maybe as a 60-second interlude type of thing. But that's yeah, and then they kind of do the same thing at the last song with Liberation. A lot of the other songs I really do like. I mean, I like I'm a Man. I thought that was great. I mean, does anybody really know what time it is? It was good. Questions 67 and 68 are good. I mean, I do like a lot of this stuff, but it was that free form guitar. I had to skip it. I mean, I got maybe about 2 minutes in. I'm like, is that all there is to that? Just him making noise with the guitar. I understand for 1969 it would have been innovative and different and wowed people, okay? But But for me, yeah, those are the only. That's the only thing that kind of knocked it down. And again, it's not necessarily my kind of music. You know, I prefer a different type of music. But again, it's an 8.5 out of 10 because there is some charm to it, and I do like it. I don't know how often I would play it if I actually own this, so I probably wouldn't buy it for myself because I mean the bass work is good, and I'm sure that's what you're more keen on because Robert, you're a bass player and that's what you're into. And I do like the bass work on it. It is pretty fantastic, which is why it gets a 8.5 instead of something lower. But all in all, again, it's not necessarily my type of music, but I do appreciate it for what it is. And yeah, I thought the freeform guitar, they could have probably taken that out of there, made it a bit of a shorter album, and it would have been fantastic. So that's all I have to say about that. Now, coming to the main subject of the Great Balancing Act, which I got to see them live twice. Up in Capole, a place called Pat de Mouche, which was a fantastic show, and then I got to see them even more grandiose and much grander when it was a release party for this album, and that was a great show that I ended up really enjoying very much. And all these songs are awesome. I actually listened to this first, okay? Because no, wait, no, actually, no, the first time I listened to this first, then I listened to this again yesterday in the earphones. Then today I played this first, and then this second. And I will admit I do actually like this a tiny bit better than this. Okay, I give this I actually give this I'll give it a 9.3 out of 10, and I'll give this a 9.5 out of 10 because I do enjoy this a little bit better because it has more of a. Some of the music reminds me of, I wouldn't say surf rock, but it has a California feel to it. And then the singing, okay, I was trying to remember who they reminded me of throughout the whole time, and it only hit me at the end of playing this. By the time this was done, of who they were reminding me of because it was gnawing on my brain. I was like, they're reminding me of somebody I really like as a band, and I couldn't quite think of it. But then it came to me. They remind me somewhat of the softer stuff from Bell and Sebastian. Not everything, but there are certain very particular songs from Bell and Sebastian that I also really like that they were reminding me of. And so, yeah, I really do like them, and I can't understand why they aren't a bigger band. You know, I'm going to leave a link to their YouTube page down below, and whatever, and everything, and and urge you to go and please check them out on Spotify, Bandcamp, and other platforms. You know, I know they're there for sure, and you can probably order their CDs and everything. If there's a website here, I'm gonna add that too, so that you can go and just go and give them a check them out. Now, I find this interesting that on this album, I mean, nowadays he goes by his stage name of Jeep Jones, okay, which is JJ, Jeep Jones. But on this album, he's going by James Sky. It's the same guy. I don't want to say his actual name because I don't know if he would want me to or not. That keeps some anonymity. But on this, his stage name is Jeep Jones, and on this one here is James Sky. And Nina Kosla, that she's going by the same name. That's her actual name. And she's super cool. a lot more of her flute playing on this, which is actually wonderful. She is a wonderful flute player. She only really highlights one song on here with the flute playing, but I like the variety of songs. I like where they go, especially with this one. This one here, it has a certain mood, and how can I describe the music? It's very friendly, uplifting, non-obtrusive at all. It's so calm. It's a very calming and relaxing form of music, and their harmonies and their melodies. It has a bit of a homegrown, you know, local feel to it, which is actually really good. Almost kind of reminds me a tiny bit of Eric's Trip, like some of the softer stuff from Eric's Trip, which is also another local Moncton band, by the way, that you should probably look into also. But I really enjoy these, and I do want to get all their albums absolutely because I do think they are fabulous. They're a good band, and yeah, I don't know why they haven't gotten bigger. No, it beats me. It just goes to show that if you come from a little place like Moncton, New Brunswick, you're going to have a hard time getting noticed because we're kind of like, and I jokingly say, the butt end of Canada. I mean, we have beautiful country. We have beautiful forests, and it's a beautiful land to travel through and everything. But to live here, there's certain downsides, and one of them is that we don't get recognized very much by the rest of the world. You know, you know, and there's one song in here, it's Geez Louise, where they mention Moncton, driving down to Moncton. And I don't know why that really made me think of the Trailer Park Boys and how giddy I got the first time I heard Ricky or Bubbles say going down to Moncton, because it makes it personal, and I can super relate to it much more. That's the whole local flavor that I like. And yeah, so I highly recommend these, if you don't know who they are. Yeah, so there's James Sky, also known as Jeep Jones, and Nina. There's Jeep with the hat, and there's Nina, and there's Sir Gilles Godet, and then in the back there, the other guy with the hat here, that would be Cab Kerouac, and then there's Eve Burke back here. He's the first one when I was back in the green room with them, talking to them, and I filmed that. He was the one that said, "Oh, he's the one that first pointed out my Sparks shirt, and said how much he loved the band and everything." So a big props to the band. They actually work very well together. They sound great, So I don't want to leave them out for sure. Yeah, so that is my review of the albums that I got from my good friend Robert. And yeah, so also my friend Robert Cormier, he's in a little band called, well, it's Francine McClure, or the Francine McClure Trio. I will go and get that album out. Sorry about that. So right here, so right here, they were the opening act. So when I went to go see them live, I'll leave the link to that video right down here below. But yeah, you should check them out too. It's French Acadian. There is a couple of English songs on here, like Moon Dream and John Malm. Those are in English. So they're a bit of a different flavor. I'm sure some of you probably wouldn't like this, but I'm sure a lot of you would. So I do give it you know, at least check it out. You never know. You probably will like it. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. I just had to give them some shout outs too and everything. But yeah, but like I was saying, Robert Cormier plays bass in that, and he's actually really good. I've heard him play bass for other type of music in that, and yeah, he's actually really really good bass player. Okay, I am done. You know how much I love you guys out there, and I just want the best and everything. If you consider subscribing to my channel, I will greatly appreciate it and love you forever. Leave comments because I try to always get to them as much as possible. Hit like, don't be afraid of the like button. And as always, just please be safe. Take care. I will see you on the flip side. And please, everybody, have a great day, evening, morning, night, afternoon, wherever you may be. Peace.